Hello dear, how have the studies been? I know you have been studying very hard and it's good to hear. We'll continue to improve on where we are. Today we want to look at how to use macros, the use of macro in Excel. We are getting technical to what to do with Excel. It is no more at the kindergarten level. Now we want to see how we can use this macro. Is an important element in Excel learning. My macro helps to, especially in automated work, to make it more easy and simple. Just imagine you have a document that will have about maybe 1,000 of such documents, and you need to format and make them look nice for onward forwarding for other utilization in a given establishment, organization, or company, and you have limited time. Macro helps you to make it easy. So how do we go about understanding this principle of macro? We go to developer. When you look at this tab, you see we have home, insert, we have draw, and what have you, and we have developer. So you click on this developer tab. When you click on it, it will give you a new format. You see code, add in, control, XML. Our principal area of where we are going to be looking is here, the code. So where we see we have Visual Basics, we will see come to Visual Basics and how to use it. But for now, we want to look at macro. This is macro, record macro, use relative, reference, and macro security, amongst others. So having this at the back of our mind, we now look at the data we are going to use. This data, we call it sample superstore macro practice. It is not actually sample superstore, but we're able to get various data and we prune them for the sake of these studies. You see, we have sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4, up to sheet 9. And when you open them, when you open the sheet, you see different information that is for use. Basically, it's a sample superstore where you're padding, but what we did was that we broke it into different segments for the sake of these studies. Sample superstore have many they have many rows, and you can see if you're looking at it from anti-clockwise, is 4,000 row. This is so if I should start from the onset, just to cure your curiosity, see, started from row ID 1 with date, everything is for sample superstore, but for the sake of this study, we broke it down into 9 sheets. And this is from 1,000, and this is from 1,000 to 2,000, 2 to 3, 3,000 to 4,000, up to 9,000. That is what we have here, so that we can understand the principle and the logic behind the use of macro. So in macro, what we do is to undertake a step of whatever we want to do, whatever we want to see. We undertake the step one step at a time, and the macro records this step for us. So after we have done that, we can go ahead to replay it in subsequent work and bring everything into a formatted level, just as it was done in the first, and it can be done severally. So let's go to sheet 1 and see how we can be able to use macro. So when you come to this code segment, you go to record macro and you click on record macro. When you click on record macro, you see a dialog box that comes up. It's showing you macro 1. This is the first recording, and when you look at it, you see we have short key. We can use short key And we can also use the steps, and you can store this in this workbook or in anywhere you wish to store it. You see, you have this workbook in a new workbook, in a personal macro workbook, as you may decide. As you decide, then you can write description of what it's all about, so that after many months, after many years, you come back, you can still remember what happened and how it went. So this, we'll call it macro 1, just the way it is. We can leave it as macro 1, and we can leave it in this workbook, and maybe description, formatting, with company color, company colors, just for the sake, and we'll just click OK. So we have given a particular name to our work. So the next thing we do now is to go ahead to format our work. Whatever we want to see, we'll now put it into use. So we'll come to this. You can see that already it has started recording, because once we came here in the first place to do our work and to put up those recordings, those dialog box that came and whatever we wrote, it was to start record. Now it is showing that we have started recording our steps. So all you need to do is to now go ahead and do our formatting. We can go to our home page, and we can first maybe come here, or we can maybe give a table, format the table by coming to format table, for instance, and we'll pick a color, maybe this color, and we say OK. As a first step, you see that has a table. After that, we can decide to go again and click everything here, just for the sake of understanding whatever we are doing, whatever step we're taking, the macro is what recording it and registering it. So we come over here again at the home, and we'll look at the format. We want to look at the column to give it a maybe a new column width. So we want it to be 20, or let's say 30 for the column width. And we say OK. 30 is big. We can come back and then again and reduce it. Say maybe 20. And see how 20 will look like. Okay. 20 looks okay. Now come over here, and we say we want this to be at the middle, and this we want to shift it to the end. Okay, so you can see we're taking steps to do some things. Then we come over and we'll click on the shift control and move to the end. We want to now maybe do something about our border. We make our border to be thick. Not only making it to be thick, we'll come and change the right up, write it in red, and also come to the filling, and we change our filling to maybe gray. Then we come over to the main work. First of all, we'll look at the numbering, and we'll bold in our numbering and also take it to the middle. Then we say okay, we would like to change the want to change the viewing. We don't want grid line, and we'll remove the grid line from our work. Okay. So we'll come here and we go to the home and look at this fronting the, and remove the border line. So why this is remaining is because it was in our formatted, we formatted it from the onset, which we can remove that formatting and it will count, but let's leave it for now. We just want to tell you the step, whatever step I've done. Like for instance, I want to see this state, all the state to be filled now in yellow, all the state to be filled in yellow, and all the class to be filled in to have field that is maybe brown. Then maybe for this I can decide to, okay, we can shift this to the next end and also bolding it. So these are small things we are just doing just to tell you how we can be able to use macro, and when and through, maybe let me look again to see maybe there's something else I need to do. Let's move and see, is there anything else we need to do? Okay, we can even come here and then maybe do some calculations function, like we have sales, we have quantity, we have profit. We can now say quantity multiplied by profit as a new something. We use our function, we say equal to, and we say this add to multiply by profit, and we enter. You see, we have now created a column and we'll call this column profit by quantity. Say profit by quantity as a name, and we also went ahead to do what, to bolding it, take it to the middle, and apply a fill, apply a light fill to it to show that we just did the work here. And we can I think we have done enough here. Can also go back to the, so that to make it no, it's okay. So having done this, we can now go and go back to our developer and come to our macro and stop recording. So we have stopped recording. All this thing now we just did to this work is not in this sheet 2 or sheet 3, 4. Now how does macro work? Now this is sheet 2, which I did not touch. Remember, the work was done in sheet 1, and now when we come to sheet 2, we'll have this. Now we want to see the effect of whatever we have done in macro. We want to see it in this next row, assuming the next sheet. We'll just come here, we'll go to our macro. Then we'll click on macro. So you have macro 1, macro 2, macro 3, macro 2 and 3. I think I've done them before. Let's see. So on this macro 1, you click on run, and you see that it has taken care of everything just as it was done in sheet 1. You see sheet 1. So when you go to sheet 3 again and you click on macro, and you come to macro, you click on the same macro one and you run. You see how in the matter of mid-seconds it will realign whatever you have done. Now there is some other, I don't know, let me just try it. The sheet 2 and 3, the macro 2 and 3 that was recorded before, it was not under this, but let's see how it will play out. Let's look for sheet 4 and then go to macro again, and then let's see what sheet macro 2 will look like. Okay, it was not done for here, it has been plain, so it will not work here. So you go back again and click on macro 1 and run. So this is just like a template. You can also do other things. Like for instance, when I come to sheet 5, for instance, I may decide to also do a different macro. I can decide to do a different macro by clicking on record macro. It's now called macro 4. I will say okay. Remember, you can also put a shortcut, maybe ZX, but be sure that you don't mix it up with conventional shortcut that are already placed on the system. That is why I decided not to. Or you can do Shift Control XLM. But for you to do a self, I just leave it the way it is, and then just click OK. Then we can do some formatting here different from what we have in sheet macro 1. So we can decide to maybe not using that table now. I can come over here and then go to view and remove grid line first, and then we'll now come here and then come to take everything here and come to holding it. Then I will now use a color green, for instance, and then I will decide to do other things. Maybe darken, make it to be thick, take it to the middle, and then come over here and make the borderline to be individually and also to be thick. Okay, we'll leave it this way. Then we'll add some beautiful kind of design for the borderline. Different from here. We'll come here, we'll pick our style. So we want to see this. We want to see it for the inside. And we'll say OK. Then for the outside, we want to have a thick line of this nation for outline. Say OK. So after this, we can now go ahead and come to our home and go to format and increase our column width. Maybe say 18 and say OK. What else again can we do? 18 is too long, it's not allowing to see everything. We can reduce it to maybe 14. See how 14 will look like. Okay, so we can also come here and make it and give a background to it. So we want it to be light green at the back end of our work. Then what else again can we do? Remember, it's all about formatting, how you want your work to look like. You can also take everything and say you want to wrap your text. Okay, wrapping does not look nice. You take it back. You can even manually increase the ones you want to increase. But remember, whatever you have done, you are not going to repeat it again. So we this one, see if we can wrap it. We can actually wrap this, or we can leave it the way it is. Then we'll come to access, bolding it, take it to the middle, give it a color, maybe a dark red color, make it to thick. So just few things. And if we have done this, we can go to our developer and stop recording again. And we can now go to sheet 6 and go to our macro. So we have macro 1 and macro 4 for us. So we'll click on macro 4 and say run macro 4. You see, macro 4 has been run. You see how it has been set for macro 4. And when we go to sheet 7, we can say in the macro, give us macro 1. And macro 1 will be given. And we'll go to sheet 8. You see how it can be alternated. You can use them. So you don't have to waste any other time in this formatting again. You have already finished the first work and it continues. All you need to do is just to instruct, and it will do what? Give you the results as you so wish. And that is how we can be able to use macro, record our steps, implement it, and save our work. If you have any question, please do let me know. And, that will be it. So we'll be going into another segment of our work. We're going to look at referencing. So let me quickly create, or maybe let me see if I have a work that have referencing on it, so we can able to, okay, this work has referencing. So let's just copy it. Let's copy it. You see, Control C, Control V, then you can now go to your data, go to clear all validation. Okay, I want to just pick these ones. I can replicate it so that I don't waste time in this. I can replicate the customer ID, and copy this out. Maybe I shift at this particular point and I place it, Control V, So I have the list of customers. I'm not working with the phone number, so I can maybe copy and just place, just for the sake of having completion of numbers. Then another information we need is maybe sales rep. You can also have a credit amount, for instance, credit amount, credit amount. You can have maybe a checker, can be anything, yes or no. I can also have what else again can I put here? So first of all, what is the essence of having your data validated? That is the most important thing that we must first of all understand. When information are being imputed into a system and the system sometimes runs into millions of rows and columns, there's this check that will help to prevent putting values that are spurious or non-conformative. Those values can actually make a mess of data, so it gives a lot of headache for data analysts to clean. Because of it, there is need for putting a kind of a check and balance even as we enter the data into a system. So now what we want to do now is to have a kind of a check. This is customer ID. This customer ID, for instance, can be any number. These are customer names. We just have a particular term, a phone number. Now their sales rep, maybe let's pick some people, maybe Roy, Charles, Joy, Brown, Meg, and then maybe Ben as names of rep. So these are rep names, for instance. Now you want to create a dialogue or a system whereby as you want to assign, these are the official names for the reps, and these are the reps that are responsible to the customers, for instance, and you want to assign these names. You want to make such a way that you don't have names that are outside of this name represented in this place, because if it is entered, of course it's a normal number name, a text, the system will accept it, but it will make a mess of the work, because it will give a lot of work headache to people that are analyzing or working on the system. So we now have to do what? Input our data validation. So how do you do it? You come to where you want to put up the data validation, and you just click on it, and you can roll it to any level you want. If this is where you want it to end, you can stop here. If not, you can even enter maybe as much. Maybe in future you expect that you have more customers, if information will be entered that will be tested here, so you give that gap. Then when you have done this first, you now come to data validation and click on it. Click on data validation. Now it will now set up some dialog will come up, and it will ask you just any value. So you always ignore blank, because there's room for blank. So what do you want to put? What we have seen there is just like a list of name. So we'll click on list. It is list that we want to put up, and the source, where is this list coming from? So you come here and click on this source space. Then you come and click on this the names of the rep. It's possible you can add more rep later, so you can maybe give space for it if you want to, since it will still ignore blank. Then you click OK. You can also put up some messages on important notice too. So you can come to the input, say show input message when cell is selected. That means you are seeing the input message, it comes up like a drop down. Then once cell is selected, show these input messages. Then the title, you may use a title, sales rep personnel. Then what is your input message there? You can call it salesperson, any name that you wish to call him, and you can now go to the error alert in case somebody put in something that is outside of what you want. You have the style, you have different style, can be stop, it can be warning, can be information. So if it is, for instance, stop, it is telling you to stop, and you can now see maybe, oh no, with a quick exclamation mark, error message, please input the right name as a signal, and you can click OK. So you can see that this is for sales rep personnel. So when you now come over, you want to bring in sales rep here, and as you click here, it will give you the drop down to pick from. This is the names you have here. So when you click on joy comes up. You come to the next one, you go to the option again, you can click on Ben. So if, for instance, you decide to type Andrew, if for any reason, and you move up and you shift enter, you see it is telling you to please input the right name. Oh no, please input the right name. So you can now give it the option to retry. So you have to now remove the Andrew and put the right name. And if later, maybe because you have given it a space, you want to now add James to your list of options, and you now come here and you click on it, you see that James has been added. You can now add James. So you can use this to kind of balance up with respect to entering data into our functions. Then the other one is create amount, and checker can be, maybe you can have, for instance, for the checkers can be yes or no as an option. It's a boolean. It can be 1 or 0, it can be true or false. Any of them is the same. So this is a checker. So whenever you want to bring in your data validation, you come to the place where you want to work and you drag it down to give you the space where operation can actually occur. So when you have done that, you now go to your data validation and click on the data validation. So you go to your validation area, allow any value. What we are saying here is still a list. So we put it up a list. Now where is the source? Click on the source and we come here and you click on yes or no as your source. Then you can also go ahead to put up your input message and error. Even if you don't put it, for instance, it will still not allow for anything, but there may be all those extra write-up or incentive to run. So other maybe message may not come up. So if I come here now And for joy, for Ben credit amount, I will now go and pick yes or no. It will still come up there. And if I put, maybe for instance, I now write none. You see, this value doesn't match the data validation, the data validation restriction defined for this. So it's the retire cancel of this. Now you see that it is still answering the same question, but you have not customized it to suit what the occasion demands. That is only the difference. So with it now, you can be able to control the values that are entering into where they are supposed to enter. Now for credit amount, for instance, it's different from this list and the rest. We can come here and click on data validation and write whole number, and the whole number is between it can be anything not equal to less than. It is you that determine what can be there. So maybe say 2000 and 7000. So this is the range where you want it to apply, and you click OK. And you now put 2000 out of when you put 15. Okay, I didn't carry up the data validation. That is why we didn't see it. I just wanted to see how it will look like. So let's come here and you take up your space as usual. Don't forget to take up your space. Then you now come and click on data validation. So you want to extend the validation to this cell. Yes. So setting, allow whole number between 2 years and say OK. So now you now come and put 2000 for instance, and you now put 15. It will tell you the value doesn't match the pattern illustration. Now if I so much want to, I could have also gone ahead to set up the other parameters that I set. It will still give me whatever I demand of it. So it's telling you to retry. So let's go back again and reformat this again. So it is already set here, but we want to add some other extra. What is the title? Say client's contribution. Contribution for welfare. The error alert says stop. You can also look at some of these warning, and if assuming you put up warning, for instance, you see there's some level of difference between warning and stop, and you put a title, oops, then the message, please send in the required amount. Thanks. And you are putting on warning. You click OK. Client contribution. Oh, I did write it to no problem. So you now put up the amount again. 2000. 2000 is okay. Then you put up 15 and move. You say please send in the required amount. Thanks. You say continue because it is a warning. And now if you, since it's a warning, it is not final. So for instance, I say yes, continue. See that the 5,000, the 1,005 is allowed, and the next one may be 3,000, and I can put 40 naira for instance. It will still give me the same warning. Do you want to continue? You put yes. But if I am to alter that, if I'm to alter that information, that validation information, and change it from warning and go to stop and click OK, then I come again and put the 15. Let's see what will happen. It says please send in the required amount. Thanks. Retry. So the 15 will not cross. I hope we're together. Please confirm if we're together.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So the 15 will not cross, unlike when you are just giving a warning. So there's a limit of what you can use the validation to do. So, but the important thing is that it gives you the leverage of knowing the range of what should be done. So if I say retry, I remove the 15 and now put 5,000, it will now pass, and I put up 3,000 again, and I put in the 40 again. The 40, I write it up. You see, tell me the same thing. So it gives us room to kind of check and validate what we are doing. I don't know if there's any question at this point. I don't know if there's any question at this point. Or everything is clear. Okay.
When we go over the video, everything will be clear.
So now it's not very clear.
It's not 100% clear.
It's
Okay.
not 150% safe.
It's okay.
This
So
one dey technical well.
it's simple now. It's simple. Just follow it step by step. Follow it step by step. And the reason is for you to have a very good data or a good work, so that like the work that needs number, you don't put in figure. For instance, this particular work now, if I should put maybe I will now write Matthew and I will enter. You see, please send in the required amount. Thanks. So it will not allow you to enter except you are entering the list. If it is phone number must enter. It may be possible, it may have character 11 or 12, 11 characters. So when people are entering phone number and one character is missing, it will not allow it to enter, so that the person can come back and you have to actually get the right thing to be done. So as you just said, when you go back again, you get more of it. It's okay. So let's go to the last thing we are going to do today, because I don't think we will have the time to go for the PowerPoint. That one we will do it in the next class. So the referencing, sometimes when um, there is a kind of a scoring or grading system or observation, there is need for one to actually have a benchmark, and that benchmark will be like a guide to know whether the performance is above average or the performance is just upcoming or there's room for improvement. It is a kind of a guide. So if I can also use the names I have here as a study, let me just copy the name and then and maybe open a sheet. I have the sheet here and I will paste it here. So when I paste it here, now I can call it student names, sorry, student names, or student name. Then we have their scores. So we can give some hypothetical score, maybe 49, 70, 34, 23, 78, 54, 67, 33, 56, 71. These are scores for students. And then you want to now maybe get a benchmark for a score. Maybe you say any student that scores 50% has been maybe adjudged to have passed. So you come here, for instance, and we just write 50 as a benchmark. So what we want to do is that we want to see how to have a grading that will be unified for all these students and see how we can be able to get their score level. Now you see, this is the score. Now the next thing is what? The grade. The grade. So, but when we want to know this grading now, we'll now see come back to the Excel function. As you know, the functions are very, very critical to Excel. So for us to grade this, we'll now come to the grade and we'll put our function, which is equal function. I'm tired today. So equal, we are using the if function. This is the if function. So we are saying that if this score is less than this score, then let it be that the student has failed, else the student has passed. That is the technical language for it. If this score, no matter what the score is, we don't want to know for now, but if whatever the score is better than this, then we can say that the student has passed. So we'll now put the if function, and see it always have an argument, the logical test, then the value if true, then comma the value if false. So this is our place of logical argument. If this, and also it is the same thing here, I can put if this is what? Less. Put your less sign. It's less than what? Less than this. That is the argument. The next thing, you put up your comma, then you put up your invited this thing and say if this is less than this, then means the person has failed. So you put up your fail. I put your comma, else, since it's only two arguments you have. Remember when we were trying to get that the age range of our customer, it was not one, so we have to do plenty if until the last one we didn't put if, we just use apostrophe and enter it. It's the same thing here, but this is just two arguments. So s, you now say the person pass. So that is the argument, and you close it. So you now enter it. So we can see that Patrick Musa failed because he scored 49, and 49 is less than 50. So we expect in our calculation that we will now populate that it will give us answer, but we can see that it is just giving us pass. 34 is pass, 23 is pass, 33 is pass. So that means there is a problem. So what actually is the problem? So for us to diagnose this problem, we go back to um, let's go back to our formula and look at it. So when you come under formula auditing, you see trace precedents under formula auditing. You see trace precedents. So that is what we are going to actually use to know why we have this problem. Now, by the time you click on this fail, for instance, and you click on the trace precedents, you see that the thing is traced to 50. Now you go down to the next one and you still trace it again. You see that it is traced to nothing. You pick the third one and you go again. You see that it is just picking without aligning to what the argument you have said, even though your argument is correct. So this is an important problem that we need to sort. That is why I intentionally allow us to get this failure first. That even though we have done the right thing, we are not getting the right result. It's only one of the one that are technically above. Now what it's doing is that it is comparing the work with whatever is here, and moreover this is an empty set. So since it's an empty set, all of them are assumed to be better than empty set. That is why they are all passing. So what do we do? So we have to correct this. To correct it is not difficult. All you need to do is come again, then you can remove the arrow first. Come again to this your formula here. I see there is the first argument was the score here, and after it you now have the next argument here. So click your cursor on that next argument. When you click your cursor on it, you go to your laptop. At the topmost you see there is F1, F2, F3, F4, F5 up to F12. Click on the F4. If you can click on the F4, that means you have to manually type dollar rate. The dollar rate, the dollar sign should start the, you have G first. In that was the dollar rate come first before the alphabet, and the dollar rate come again first before the number where it is located. We'll make sure it is on the right side, because this one is giving me something else. And since I-71 fail, so so this is where the dollar rate should be, on this. So click on it and put your F4 there. This one will have little challenge. I have to, well, let's do it first. I'll see it and see how we are able to address that. So put your F4 and enter, then go again and click again. There's an issue here. Okay. So let me just clean it and redo it. When I was trying to put dollar rate, it affected something. So to be on the safe side, remove everything and clean up everything so that you can do it on a clean slate. And later we can now trace it. Okay. So we come again this time. You put your equal sign, you put your if function, and you say that if this is less than this, and you put your comma, you say it should be fail, else it should be pass. Should be pass. Then you close it and enter. Okay. Then you click back on the fail and come to this less than I12. Just click on it and place your F4 and enter again. So you will now come here and run it. So when you run it, you will observe that it has now been able to be corrected. So you see that 49 is fail, 70 is pass, 34 is fail, 23 is fail, 78 is pass, 54 is pass, 67 is pass, 33 is fail. So it is able to align the scores accordingly. So when you go back again to that precedent to trace it, and you come again to the next one, you see that it is now aligning. So you can trace the scores to where it is coming from. So that is when you look at that place where we have precedent, we also have dependents. So where is the work dependent on? We can go that when we finish this, you can also see it. So you can see that. So the way it is now, it is not even depending on this score. Okay, now assuming that I now click on this and then change my score. Let me see if I change the score to maybe 45 now. I click OK. Let me remove the arrows. I see that now Patrick has passed, or 34 has failed. And if I should change it again now to maybe 60, you see that 56 has failed. So it is able to allow you. So this is what is called absolute referencing. So you can able to reference absolutely, not minding the position of this your student. They can be up to million, but once you have set the standard, everything. So if you are grading a system, you are looking at the performance and you are grading it, you can able to see how it behaves or how it relates to what you have in mind as an idea. So that is what we'll do here. So let me put it back at the 50 that it used to be before there was a repentance. So you can see how it looks like. Now the second thing again is this trace dependent is the opposite of trace precedent. So I can click on the 50 and go to trace dependent. See, it's tracing everything that are dependent on it back to 50. While the other one is tracing one up, to them are going up. This one is taking the other way around. So that is just the only difference there. You can remove the arrow. You can also, you want to see your formula, you can also click here. Now it will give you how it runs the formula. Let me open it so you can see it. So you see, for Patrick Musa 49 score, this is the function if f. So the dollar sign is constant, for it didn't move. What was moving was just the column or the rows in which it was operating, G4 up to G13. The rest are constant. So that is how you can be able to perform referencing for work in Excel, because you find it handy when there's a challenge that leads you to kind of have a benchmark. This is how you can be able to achieve it. And sometimes they may come in technical questions and you're able to see how you can be able to answer that.